you hearing in terms of what are you hearing for common themes in some of these towns of what their big concerns are? What are people worried about? What are they looking for from the state government?
Well, most of the people that the most common thread is, are you running as a Republican or a Democrat? That's what they want to know. And when I tell them I'm running as a Republican, it sometimes creates an excitement in their voice because it's a change. They know it's a change. But like I said, I've always been unenrolled. This is the only time for the last 3 years I've been a Republican. Yeah. Now, when you talk to the people in Lawrence, people are going to be surprised with the amount of people who have left the Democratic Party and have either become unenrolled or now have Republican, and they have a movement of Republicans going on in Lawrence right now that are of Hispanic descent.
Right.
You know, I know there's a bunch of Republicans in Lawrence, but people are going to be surprised because I am being introduced to all the people who want to make a change, who have a stake in the community, who are volunteers, who do in church groups and pantries and cleaning up the neighborhoods and cleaning up the parks, right? These people are moving. And the people that aren't moving and are connected, they're concerned with, where is everybody? Why aren't they helping? So that's one of the biggest themes. It's not really a Republican, Democrat type of a thing. It's like, are you going to do what you say you're going to do?
Right.
And that's what they're looking for. They're looking for change, not a party change, just a person change to say that they're going to do that.
Sure.
And the second thing, everybody has common things that they want, taxes and community things that go on, crime, gangs. Crime is a common theme. Crime is a common theme
Sure.
in all the communities, right? But in particular with all the communities, Dragon has economic development. That's a side thing. If you want to talk about the different things
Right.
for each district.
Right.
Dragon has economics. Tewksbury has economics.
Yeah.
The 93 corridor. How do we straighten that out? They also have a problem with 40B projects
Sure.
that are going. They are like 0.4% under
Right.
the
Very
percent
close.
right now,
Right.
and they're getting a 70-something development,
Yeah.
77 unit development that's going to put them way over, and it's in a place where a lot of people aren't happy.
Right.
You go to Andover, concerns right now with the school systems, the school committee, the superintendent, the coaches situation with every time they're trying to fire coaches from
Right.
one reason or another.
Right.
And the biggest thing in Andover, though, is the condition of their schools. It's going to be a serious issue in the next few years that Andover has a number of schools that need to be redone or replaced. So that's one of their parallels in each other. And you know, it's the use of taxpayer money, how it gets filtered out. Now the state just had a $1.8 million surplus. I don't know one of my communities, except Lawrence gets funded by the state.
Right.
But the other three communities could use some serious amount of money
Right.
in their community for schools.
Right.
And the school formula, the funding formula, and since I've been running for Greater Lowell, I've had conversations with all of my friends who are representatives or state senators about the funding formula, and the state funding formula is flawed, and no one would listen to me because they thought it was gonna skew, and people in the communities would say, well, we're getting X, we ought to be happy with X.
Right.
No, it should be out equally.
Right.
Somehow try to distribute it equally, because if Drake every year is close to going for a Proposition 2.5 override, they're obviously not doing well, and they need some more money. And where do we get that money from? And you can't just keep raising taxes
Right.
and spending money on things that people aren't really happy about. And you have to make a change somewhere. I know the system in my three districts have a problem with Lawrence, only with the fact that they don't mind helping. The fraud and abuse they
Sure.
don't like, and that's the common theme with my three towns with Lawrence, is that they don't have the fraud and abuse. They would like it to stop.
Right.
So I'm a retired police officer. Every year I have to go to the retirement court and I have to prove that I'm alive. And then they have to I have to sign a paper, and it gets notarized, and they say I have to show an ID that says that I'm who I am. You don't have to do that for the state when you're collecting benefits. You don't have to know. If my dad passed away, they canceled all his credit cards. They knew he was dead. I didn't call anybody. They called me up. They said, "We're really sorry about your dad. Canceled all his credit cards for you. Don't worry about it," right? And off they go. In the state, you're telling me the state of Massachusetts can't do the same thing?
Sure.
And when I looked into it, I know a friend that's on the fraud and abuse team that investigates. They don't have enough people. They got 12 or 14 people that are investigating. Now, is it because they can't afford it, or is it because they don't want to find it? You know what I'm saying? So there needs to be some more oversight. So if we have X amount of people that are receiving the funds, let's let the other people in the state of Massachusetts feel good about helping their neighbors, not feeling like they're being taken under the rug.
Excellent. Last question, and it's a question I've been asking all the candidates. What do you want people to know about you as a person? What if they don't know you personally? What do they need to know about who Joe Espinola is and what you're about?
And that's an interesting question, because I have a bunch of reasons. But the reason I always say, well, people say to me, "Why are you doing this? Why are you running? You're crazy." I'm retired. I have a family. I coach in the communities. I mean, I got plenty of things to do. And I say to them, the reason why I'm running for this job is the reasons why you're asking me why I'm doing this. Because of those same reasons, I believe that I can make a change. I believe that I can make people feel comfortable about filling in the box next to my name. And I believe that that people should be comfortable with their politicians, and I know that I could do that. I am like I said, I grew up son of a firefighter. My grandfather was a paper hanger. He was in the union. My father was in the union. I was in the union. I ran unions. I was on board of directors for unions, number of unions all the time. And what people need to realize is that because I have an R after my name, that doesn't change who I am, what I think of, and I don't toe the party line. I'm me, and I think that the people in the district, especially this district, they are getting more towards voting for the person, not the party. And it's going to. So what people should know about me is I'm active in my communities. I have been crawling on the banks of Lawrence, pulling people off of there in the sub-zero temperatures, bringing them to shelters. When I worked in Lawrence, I've gone around in food pantries. I've helped in different types of things. When I first became a police officer, my first job was working in Lawrence when they had the riots on Haverhill Street. So I know every nook and cranny. And then later on, when I became on the SWAT team, I was at the fire at the Malden Mills. And I was there for 2.5 weeks, helping people, carrying people downstairs, doing things like that. I'm a coach. I'm very, very involved in my community. I'm in a number of different benefit groups and nonprofits. Matter of fact, after I leave here today, I'm going down to the Merrimack Valley Food Bank.
Oh, yeah.
So I participate in all those things. I'm a community person. I know I can make a difference. I know about schools. I know about unions. I know about education funding. I know what the people need in Lawrence to make themselves to a better level, not a handout, a hand up. And with the opiate crisis in my district, there are 4 vocational schools. There's one in each one of my communities.
Right.
Now, when I talk about the opiate crisis, I say the state, by using Narcan, they're throwing a net at these guys and girls after they've jumped out the window. The net doesn't do any good once they're flying out the window.